Hi, I'm going to tell you how to set up your first simple vintage stereo system, and we'll get you rocking out in no time. Check out this house. I'm going to go over the basics of setting up your first vintage stereo system, make sure you avoid any mistakes, and get the most bang for your buck your first time out. As with all things in life, music starts from the source. You already have a source, either your laptop or your phone. Maybe you have a Sonos or a Blue Sound node, something like that. But if you're listening to music already, you have a source. It might even be your smart TV. In order to pick up that source, you need an analog signal coming out of it, and you need a cord like this. It's a headphone jack and dual RCAs. This is your stereo signal. It's going to go into your receiver, and this comes out of your phone or your laptop. And I got a little fancy cord off of eBay, but you can get these anywhere. And with your first vintage system, the quality of the cord isn't the most important thing. The quality of the speakers and the amp are, and you can work on chords and sources later on. So forget I said anything about that. So speakers, do you like to play your music loud? If so, you want bigger speakers, because bigger speakers play louder. Do you have a big room? If you have a big room, you want bigger speakers. Anything bigger than like 14 by 14, something like that, I'd call a big room. And you want larger speakers. Speakers with a woofer that is 8 inches in diameter or bigger, or 2 6-inch woofers. So if you have a big room, or you like to play real loud, get something with at least an 8-inch woofer or 2 6-inch woofers. If you're in a small room, you lucky duck, you can probably get away with anything from a 5 to a 6-inch single woofer. And if you don't like to play your music super loud, then you can also get away with those size things. So speakers are a place where you can go very right or very wrong. You're going to get good deals on large speakers because they cost so much to ship that people have to sell them locally. So if you get on like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, you can get a nice old pair of JBLs or Klipsch or Advent. Those are all safe bets, as long as you just Google the model number, make sure it was made kind of in the 70s, and you can't go wrong with any of those speakers. And if you could get those for, reasonable money, whatever is reasonable to you, then just go for it. Just make sure that anytime you buy vintage gear, speakers, or any other component, you want to audition it before you hand the person the money. So if they're not willing to do that, then just call somebody else and get something else, because that deal is too good to be true for a reason. Another great way to get a good deal on vintage or used speakers is to get on eBay and change the search distance to whatever you're comfortable driving. I don't know where you live. And then you can forego the whole shipping cost and just drive over and pick them up. Also with eBay, you have recourse. So if you get it home and Tweeter doesn't work, then you can just tell eBay, and then they'll compel the person to refund your money, which you can't do on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, unless you're a real scary dude. But Ryan, I don't want to fool with all this used BS. Can't I just go to the store? Yep, go to the store. Go to Best Buy or any other store. Don't go to an upscale store unless you're really going to spend some dough, because those guys are pricks if you don't have money. Go to Best Buy, listen to the speakers that they have in the store, because speakers all have different personalities, and you want to know what sounds good to you, and the only way to really know is to listen. One great trick for auditioning speakers is when you're listening, just close your eyes, and that way you can focus all of your hearing onto what you're listening to. Bring your own CDs and just see how it makes you feel. Try to get in contact with your gut feeling, and whatever you end up buying, if you don't overthink it, if you just listen to your feelings, trust your gut, it's probably going to turn out real well. Waste their time, listen to all the speakers in there, pretend you're going to buy them right then and there, and then maybe you will. So how do you know if a vintage amp is any good? Well, the first indication of quality is it'll say made in Japan on the back, or made in the USA. And the second indication is it will have been made between 1970 and 1980. So amps made in Japan in the 1970s are all quality. I haven't ever seen one that's a piece of crap. So that's a pretty safe bet there. How do you know if it meets those criteria? Get on Hi-Fi Engine, I'll link that below. You type in the model number, it'll tell you where it was made, what years it was made, and what the wattage is, and it'll probably even have some helpful reviews to help you narrow it down even more. So maybe you got lucky and somebody died, and here you are with their vintage receiver, and you want to get started right away. So you got all your gear assembled, now you got to hook it up. Don't plug the receiver in yet. First you want to hook up your speakers, which, just get any 12 or 14 gauge speaker cable so they are marked positive and negative, and your receiver will also have positive and negative. On the speaker wire, that should be either red for positive or it'll have little pluses on it for positive. You hook that up on both speakers, right and left. The back of your receiver will usually have two sets of outputs, so you'll have an A or a B. Just use A for simplicity's sake. Then look on the front of the receiver, select speakers A for the outputs. The next thing you want to do is hook up your input jacks. You take that cord that I showed you earlier with the RCA jacks. You plug that into the aux in or the tape in. Do not use the phono in. So you got the volume all the way down. You plug the receiver into the wall. You hit the power button. Slowly increase the volume, and if any funny business happens, turn the power off and call a tech. But if nothing bad happens, then just enjoy. You did it. Congratulations. Welcome to the world of vintage stereo.